So good evening, welcome to Love Line, your most authoritative talk show on radio, on your favorite dial 98.3 BFM. This is Radio Windy Bay, and of course, we are your ultimate in campus radio. My name is Minister Seth, because you can call me your relationship coach for tonight. And hey, guess what? On Love Line, I have a note, of course, that reads in the bustling city of Koforidua, there is a couple named Sarah and Michael who are living together for several years, and their love for each other is undeniable. However, their relationship has been overshadowed by a cloud of uncertainty, causing friction between them. Sarah firmly believes in the traditional values of commitment and marriage before engaging in sexual intimacy, seeing it as a sacred bond that solidifies their love and brings them closer. She dreams of walking down the aisle, exchanging vows, and building a future together before taking that significant step. On the other hand, Michael, while deeply in love with Sarah, feels differently about the timeline of their relationship. He yearns for a physical connection with her, not out of lust, but as a way to express and deepen their love. Now, he believes that their emotional connection is already strong enough and that physical intimacy could further strengthen their bond. Their conflicting viewpoints are creating tensions and leading to frequent argument. Sarah feels that Michael's desire for physical intimacy without marriage undermines her values and commitment to building a solid foundation. Michael, on the other hand, feels a sense of frustration, longing to express his love in a way that he believes is natural and meaningful. So tonight I'm asking, how important is sex in a committed relationship? How important is sex in a committed relationship? You can share with us your experiences, questions, and contributions via SMS, WhatsApp, or you can call us at 0503-923-158. 0503-923-158. Hey, we are streaming live on Facebook at Radio WINDYBAY 98.3 FM. Just go there, watch us live, and of course, let's get interactive. Before I introduce my guests for tonight who are already seated, Love Line will take a quick detour. I need you to stick and stay with us. Charlie, live Radio WINDYBAY 98.3 FM. And of course, the show is Love Line with your Minister. Oh, did I say Mr.? Minister Seth. Of course, I am your relationship coach, and tonight we are asking how important is sex in a committed relationship. Sex, oh boy, that subject, sex, S-E-X. That is quite an interesting one, quite a topical one. And tonight we have some interesting personalities in the studio to help us digest this topic. Of course, I have my main man, Alfredo himself. Alfredo, what's up, brother?
Good evening.
Good evening, bro. What's up?
I do.
Did we miss you last week? No?
No.
Oh, okay. Charlie, what's up? How has the week gone? I mean, coming into this week, how has it treated you?
Well, thank God for life, but just a few sad stories here. But
sad stories, you said?
Yeah.
Whoa. Hope everything is fine.
Yeah.
You sure? Do we need to do some contributions?
Oh,
Sour or something? That's it. Or you want us
after the show we'll talk about.
want us to give you some money for something? Watches. Look at watches.
I like the way you put a smile on my face when it comes to money.
Oh, you don't have
smiles on my face.
Yeah.
Let's talk after the show.
Charlie, welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, Minister.
So, Mr. Boachi Hajiman is also in the studio. Boachi?
Minister.
Hey, my brother that do. Charlie, what's up?
Minister, we did. Yeah.
So he is the official ladies' man.
Hey.
Because Charlie Bashir, no, if you are listening to us, I want you to go to Facebook at Radio WINDYBAY 98.3 FM and check this gentleman. Look, he's different. Boy, he's looking so deep. Tell me, go check him out over there. Brother, what's up, man? But hey, you're looking good. I already have a text message for you.
Hey!
Yes. Okay, it's actually on Facebook. Mr. Juman is looking so sweet. Can I get his contact? Oh, somebody wants your contact already. Just look at that. Oh boy, watch it. You have. I mean, it's happening.
Let me mention his contact. +233. Then you add the rest.
The rest. Charlie, the ladies love you. You know, somebody wants your contact already. Oh, come on, don't be bothered. I know you are not bothered. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Minister.
Charlie. You know what? I mean, you are a busy man. I know. Sometimes we schedule and it collapses.
Yes. So I think last 2 weekends I was really looking forward for that particular topic.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a comprehensive conversation with my godmother, Dr. Ananga.
Ananga, yes. Yeah, she's a friend to you.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay, and she loved it. She thought it was a good one.
Well, we had a bit of disagreement because I quoted something like that on my status and she disagreed. So we had a conversation about it. I think that was just yesterday. A comprehensive
Was it
conversation.
2 weeks ago?
Yes, so 2 weeks ago. So after the conversation, that was when I proposed that we do something along that
Different.
area.
Okay. Sure. Us,
But she-
forgot the topic.
Yeah, that's the past really
Matter in the present. Okay.
She had some quite, insightful comments
Oh,
to make
okay.
about it, I think.
So we'll have to revisit that and see. Probably we can get her to join via phone.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
She would love to.
Great.
Yeah.
Mr. Juma, welcome to the show.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so I have an ardent listener, somebody who listens to the show a lot. She is beautiful. And of course, she's joining for the first time. Miss Stella is in the studio. Hey, how are you, beautiful lady?
I'm fine, thank you.
I like the natural stuff. I naturally I'm inclined to. You see, I'm attracted to ladies with natural stuff. The hair. I mean, and she's got some fine eyebrows. It turns things on if you're not careful.
Papa.
So Stella, hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
But hey, you're looking pretty. I tell you, your smiles, charming.
Oh yeah.
No wonder you came with Mr. Adjuman.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the show. I know, Stella. I know you've been listening to Love Line. I mean, quickly, what do you think of our show? Are we doing well? You think we are addressing problems? You think we are solving people's issues? No.
Yes,
We're doing
very
well.
insightful.
Okay, so you think we are doing well?
Yeah.
Great. So, what do you make of our topic tonight? How important? I mean, sex and love. I mean, you think this is quite a daring one?
It's very daring.
I simply can't wait to have your views of this. But ladies, gentlemen, welcome to the show. So I'm going to start this, Mr. Adjuman.
Yeah.
I want you to give us some education here. Like sexual intimacy, the subject of sexual intimacy. I want you to just, briefly, what is it about?
It is self-explanatory. Like,
Yes, I know, but then hey, for some educational purposes, maybe somebody doesn't know. Would you want to just shed some light on it? Sexual intimacy.
someone doesn't know about sexual intimacy.
Someone actually just tested. What is that big word? Sexual intimacy. So let's explain it to her.
Because of the political arena, right? Because of the gender political arena.
Mr. Adjuman, I know you. Please, can we just calm down and let's just let this listener.
Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Let's him finish the topic today. Actually,
Let's
part two to the topic.
let's finish it today. Mr. Adjuman. I know Mr. Adjuman. I mean, this man is something else.
It's okay, fine. We all understand the concept of sex, right?
Yeah.
Sex. Okay. So I mean, it's a radio program. I can't be explicit.
Okay.
So
it should be measured though.
yes, you have to be measured in your rhetoric. So it's sexual relations between two people. Let me put it that way. So sexual relations between two people, right? That is the sexual intimacy. if you don't understand sexual relations, you should go back to your mother's womb.
So by extension, what role does it play in an intimate relationship or in a committed? So we are looking at the word committed relationship here. That is what is happening between Sarah and the gentleman. So what role does sexual intimacy play in a committed relationship?
Not marriage.
Not married. It's a committed relationship.
It depends on where you want to look at it from.
Mm.
Okay, so we have those with a religious opinion, those with traditional views, and then those in the pool, what I like to refer to as the pool. Right? There are some people who are of the opinion that no, if you are in a committed relationship, sex is a must. For both girls and and guys, it's a must. But for those who have, there's a religious opinion about it, you are not supposed to have any form of sexual relations or intimacy with someone that you are not married to, because essentially, or those who have the traditional values, right? So they feel that sex is a byproduct of having paid a dowry, for the woman. It is after that you have the right to have that kind of sexual intimacy with a particular person, and as long as that has not been done, then you don't have any business having sexual relationship with someone that you are not married to. So it depends on which angle you decide to actually take it from.
Alfred?
You said it all. But I want to add to when you talk of intimacy. Intimacy has a lot to do with not necessarily penetration, but a cuddle, a hug, just rubbing of the person's feet. Talking about certain sensitive things between the partners. I think they are all intimacy. So that's what I have to say concerning intimacy.
But I also think that it depends on the
I support his grounds concerning we believe that if you've not finished you have to respect the lady. She's from a family, so you need to respect her and at least do the needful. Yes, what the family demands, both the Christian and the traditional way. And as he used the word pull, which some people are mixed with that I need to taste before I do a permanent commitment. When we talk of committed relationship, we are heading somewhere. We trust that this will end permanently. Yeah, so it will end somewhere, it will end in marriage. So for the intimacy can be something that we are building on. That is, I know where I touch. That makes you, especially when you have a stressful day, maybe a massage on your neck or something can make your day, can help you relax or something. So those are few things that kind of cause bond in committed relationship. But for the penetration,
I'll come to the issue of bond. But then, Stella, what you want to take a bite on this?
Yes, I do. I also, as Mr. Bashi and Mr. Alfred said earlier on, I agree with what they say. It depends on your point of view, depending on your upbringing. Because someone who has been brought up from a Christian home or a religious home will see sex before marriage, premarital sex, and as much as you're in a committed relationship, as a sin. And then someone who is not from a religious background wouldn't have a problem having premarital sex, because there's a belief that you need to get to know someone intimacy. By the intimacy I mean sex. To know your compatibility and all that. So it depends on your point of view.
Okay, wonderful. So we have two individuals. The woman who want to wait, the gentleman simply can't wait for reasons best known to him. Obviously, he loves his woman, but feels the act would solidify the love. But is the gentleman justified in his claims?
No, absolutely not. He's not justified.
Let's put the religious tangent aside. Let's put the Christianity, whatever, aside, and let's face the realities. These are two adults committed to each other, and probably the issue of compromise now has to probably come to play here. But then, is the gentleman justified seeking that much from the partner?
No, he's not.
The reason I'm saying he's not is because it's a committed relationship. They've had countless times to come to that agreement before getting to the point where the relationship becomes a committed one. You have to be, when it comes to people you want to spend the rest of your life with, you have to be intentional about some of the things, right? So from the onset of the relationship, you have to be very clear about what it is you expect from the relationship before you proceed. If sex is supposed to be a component of it, it has to be agreed upon. If sex isn't supposed to be a component of it, it's supposed to be agreed upon.
At what point do you make that agreement? You sign that treaty?
At the point where you ask the person out. So these are things you have to do before you even ask the person out. At this point, I agree with you. We have the same values. We have the same principles. And because of that, I want us to take the relationship to another level. Right? Because a committed relationship presupposes that you want to enter into marriage with the person. And if you cannot agree on something as basic and as fundamental as whether sex is supposed to be a component of the relationship, the two of them have no business being in a relationship in the first place. So if that was not part of the agreement, to the point where the relationship became committed, on what basis is the guy requesting for sex? Mr. Asa, you understand what I'm trying to say?
We simply don't know whether that was the initial agreement. We don't. It's kind of vague, but it has gotten to this point that it's demanded.
Yes, then
Could it also not be that, I mean, they didn't have any initial agreement on anything, and as a matter of fact, it has gotten to that point. He wants it so badly.
You see, I have a problem with people, and of course, I think this is a bigger problem. I have an issue when people claim I have the right to do what I want, right? If you want to do what you want, you put yourself in an isolated container and then, push yourself into space and go and stay there. We live in a society. And at the end of the day, you cannot simply do what you want because we live in a society. And one key component of society is values, right? So if at the end of the day, an action is supposed to affect two people and the two people decide that, okay, fine, we'll both be affected and we are okay with it, then it's fine. That is the point where the two people have decided that they are supposed to engage in sex. But if there's proliferation of ideas, then the values must take precedence, especially if rights are not being violated. The values must take precedence. A girl or a lady is a gatekeeper of sex. If she says no, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. You get it? And if this particular girl is a traditional woman who have not had sexual intimacy with anybody before, and of course, part of the reason why she probably likes her is because of those values. You can't ask a girl to compromise those values because, you want to. There is no scientific research that shows that even sex improves relationship. It is not true. Even if you get married for a very long time, per experiences I've heard from people, you even need a conscious effort to find your partner attractive. To a certain point, you have to work on your romance in a relationship if you marry for a very long time. The idea that the sex is going to improve the relationship is a lie. It's a lie. It's not true. It can actually ruin the relationship. People say that having sex is like putting chocolate sprinkles on an ice cream. But
to an extent,
it's not every combination that works.
You're talking about establishing some values at the onset.
Yes.
Agreeing on certain principles.
Yes.
I wouldn't want us to have sex at this time. Blah blah blah. Let's
yes.
wait. But how often do we have couples or partners having these prenuptials? I mean, these agreements at the onset, going into does it happen often?
You see, Mr. Said, that explains the reason why people enter into relationship with a lot of baggage. They don't prepare, they don't plan, they go into the relationship, things don't work out, and then they fall out, and then they come back to the pool with a lot of baggage.
So you are advocating that the moment you get to meet yourself, you set those standards.
I'm telling you, start asking questions. What is the person's, you need to find out about the person. You need to look at the person's, blood group. You need to know the person's, genetic makeup. Right, these are conversations you are supposed to have. Take us into
some details. Give us some details. What are the questions? What are the conversations you are supposed to have when you meet a man you feel you want to, or a woman you feel you want to spend your life with?
Well, personally, for me, on the lighter side, the first question I'll probably ask is, have you dated a fraud boy before? That is the first question on the lighter side. But you need to know about the person's genetic makeup. If you are someone who is very particular about academic work, you need to find out whether you are compatible intellectually. You need to find out. You need to find out about the person's blood group. You need to find out about the person's, status with the various diseases, HIV/AIDS, syphilis.
Really?
Yes, you need to know all those things. If you
Before you enter into your relationship with somebody.
Before you enter into a committed
relationship
with somebody.
So at the point when commitment comes, I mean, at what point do you do that? When you decide you want to commit to the person?
Yes.
Because I meet you, for instance, today, and probably a lot could happen before I decided I want to commit. It happened.
Yes. So I'm saying that there are a lot of things that, they are meaningful, right? They are extremely meaningful that you need to find out before you commit. Then what is the essence of commitment? If these things, which can be a deal breaker, right, they are not ironed out at the beginning of the relationship and then you commit before you decide to find out those things, then what is the essence of that commitment? Then the commitment loses its meaning.
People may have had sex, done everything, gotten to a point and now, okay, we want to commit. They are not coming to ask of DNAs, I said DNAs, blood.
Yes, so at the end of the day, one person will lose.
How often, do people even do this?
It doesn't happen. We see by the people who are conscious and find out all those things. Once they are, once they enter into the relationship, they are able to maintain their relationships for a very long time because, whatever can be the problem has already been agreed upon. They are compatible in terms of values. Intellectually, they are compatible. They know that they are genetically compatible. Right now, AA, AS, SS, SC cannot marry SS, SS cannot marry SS, AS not very advisable. So it's either those things. You need to find out about the genetic makeup.
So this is free advice from Boache to individuals who want to commit themselves. Alfred,
yeah, Minister.
at the onset, everything was
Minister,
okay.
I want to throw light on what he's saying.
Okay.
When it comes to committed relationship, when it comes to matters of the heart, when it comes to love, when love hits you, it doesn't announce itself. The way Boache approached it, it looked like a business contract. Yes,
Probably that's how
you see, when it comes to matters of the heart, you go in for friendship. You go in to know a simple young lady. You go into maybe her complexion caught your attention, her voice caught your attention, her eyes caught your attention. It depends on what caught your attention. So when you are now inside, you now learn to blend or gel with the lady. That is when those seriousness come in.
Boache is trying to be too technical.
No, he's trying to be a business. No, he's trying to be a businessman.
Lover.
Like, sign this contract. Are you intelligent? Okay, sign this side. Let me sign this side. Okay. When it comes to that is not love. Seriously.
I see.
That is contract.
See, Minister
When you put it that way, I think it is contract.
Minister said, see.
Alfred, you take another bite.
Okay. At the point where you see all the things Alfred is mentioning, right? All those things, right? It is at the point where it has not gotten to a committed relationship yet. So getting to know you phase, it's there, right? The getting to know you phase is there, right? And whether you like it or not, the things that I spoke about are things which in the long run is going to affect your relationship, whether you like it or not.
You are right.
Right? So you can have all the fun that you want, right? You kind say there is this analogy where someone described committed relationship and marriage as, it's like a sea or a pool of water that you do not know what's actually in there.
Indeed.
So before you go in, you need to test the depth of where you want to go, right? See, everybody has their priorities. Some people want trophy wives, right?
Okay.
The girl is beautiful, and everybody knows my girl is beautiful. So then they don't look at all these things. As long as the girl is beautiful, they are okay. It's fine. Obiane any philosophy, right? But the idea that wanting to find out what can possibly go wrong, something which is very fundamental, the idea that someone wanting to find that out, that it does not equal to, the person having a business contract. Because whether you like it or not, marriage is actually a contract. Means I said, see, let me tell you something. My godmother, I don't know whether she would like me to share this information on air.
Maybe you really want to mention her name.
Okay, that's fine. But there are instances where she sits down, right? Help the husband to do his literature review, article writing, right? bringing up of the kids in specific academic aspects and all those things, right? The husband can also do the same thing. That is intellectual compatibility, okay, in the academic aspect. There are some people who are extremely intelligent when it comes to, skills or things you use your body for. These dance god Lloyd, I think.
Dance God.
Yes. See, there is one girl in there. She really knows how to dance. I forgot. Afronita. Right? Such an individual might not necessarily be someone who can, I'm not saying she's not, might not necessarily be someone who can sit down and write a literature review and submit an article to a journal. She might not be able to, but she might actually be making money more than a professor who can do that. Yeah. So if I'm someone who dances and I'm looking for someone to build a life with, I'll probably be assessing the person in that particular area because of compatibility. If I'm doing that, it does not mean I'm entering into a business contract. I'm looking out for the interest of myself and the interest of that particular person herself, so that at the end of the day, I don't hurt her and I don't hurt myself. Right? Because if you don't do that and find out these things, you get into the committed relationship. And then you have to be making these decisions at the point where you've committed your energy and resources in the relationship. You end up hurting yourself. You come back to the pool because you're Jao.
Why I put that across, some of these things, you are talking from somebody who has a past in things like that. But somebody who is now entering, and I keep saying that when you want to commit to some things like this, only those things you are looking out for are things that happen during that is before marriage. Yes, you are going to, those things, you don't analyze those things. If naturally you are looking for academically inclined young lady, naturally you are attracted to such qualities at the initial stage.
But how would you find out the person is academically inclined?
No, sometimes the way somebody speak, the utterances.
Oh, Master,
no, I'm coming.
Oh, really?
Let's Stella just jump in a bit.
So sometimes you might see someone,
okay,
and then the person gives you a certain vibe that's like
an impression.
The person gives you an impression that maybe the person is intelligent or something. But then you get to know the person and
you
realize that
it's Baula.
No.
Oh, and also
so you need to consider a lot of factors before you get committed to someone.
Yeah.
Because you get so attached to the person, and then now you're not coming to find out your genotype, all these things. By then you're so attached that
you would like to do a lot of sacrifice.
Yes. Breaking, like, getting apart to be so difficult. But then you have to be real. Like, I mean, I'm genotype. My genotype is AS, and then probably the guy is SS. There's no way
Yes.
Yeah. But then because we didn't like test ourselves before getting to that stage. Now you don't know what to do. It's like you're stuck at the, and then you don't know whether to cross or not.
You want to develop your faith through at that stage.
Then what role is love playing here?
See, Minister said,
doesn't love overcome everything?
See, Mr. said, that is the
That's what I'm saying, that
surmount.
when love hits you, it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't announce itself.
Because look, but I know certain individuals who are going around, they are 40 now, 50 now, going around still looking for the right genotype, the compatibility. They are still finding compatibility.
You find the right genotype, but you and the person can't vibe.
See, Minister said,
you're all different. Listen,
that submission presupposes that love develops in the vacuum. It doesn't. You can't love someone you do not know. If you love someone you do not know, that is lust and infatuation. In fact, in the classic sense of the word, loving someone, actually implies that you know the person's strengths, you know the person's weaknesses, and then regardless of all those things, you still want to be there for the person. That kind of affection does not develop in a vacuum. See, you meet someone today, how you feel about the person today might not be the same as how you feel about the person in the next 2-3 years' time. It changes over time. But once you put a ring on the person's finger, even if you do not feel the same way, you are committed to make sure that you hold on to your vows. That is love. Do you know the number of times God wants to slap us for some of the things we do on this earth? But he doesn't do that. Why? Because that's love. So love does not develop in a vacuum. In fact, if someone tells you they love you but they do not know you, that is a very big lie.
No,
In fact-
nobody says that.
No, so
Unless maybe the person wants something, or the person has a package that he
Yes.
wants something from
yes,
you.
and I'm saying that if you truly love someone, right, and something as fundamental about sexual values, sexual orientation, you do not know what the person holds dear in that particular regard. The excuses, love hits me in the face. No, that is not prudent. Right? Because
You know,
in the process of getting to the point where you are committed to the person, all these things should have become apparent. Unless, of course, you were probably talking about Korean movies and American movies.
Because at the time of commitment,
Minister,
at the time of
Minister,
commitment, you
Minister.
may probably already
Minister,
have.
his approach,
Okay.
what I'm putting across is that, when you approach a young lady, something caught your attention. Definitely something caught your attention.
at that point,
that you
it's
want
not-
to, I'm coming. That
At
you
that
want
point,
her
it's
to be
not
your friend.
committed.
Is that not it? So you start creating some kind of vibe, some kind of something that some kind of daily routine. Then that daily routine develop into something. So that is how you learn to develop or to know the person more than the first day.
Exactly.
So when you talk of
It's not
Exactly. So I'm not saying that go and sit the girl down and start interviewing her. There are several ways.
So
to
at
go
what
about
the
point?
thing is that
it.
the thing is that
yeah.
the thing is that you
There are lots
wouldn't
of
you
ways.
no the thing is that
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't those things wouldn't come into your mind until you are about to marry.
Hey, no.
Seriously.
No,
Those things
I
wouldn't
think
come in
I'm
mind
tempted to
about you're
side
about
with-
to marry.
with
Seriously.
Alfred.
Those things wouldn't come to mind until you're about getting married. Until the pastor demand you both
Some of
parties
these
to
things,
check.
yes.
Yes.
So what if you check and you're not compatible?
And then
Then
For
you face
that
the
one,
reality.
for that
So
one,
then
definitely.
face
That
the
is where
reality.
either you develop your
Because-
your religious
You see,
faith,
Yeah.
or you
Minister
let
said,
go.
no, okay.
You don't deal with risks, right?
This
You
is a
don't-
businessman.
But see, that is
No,
that's-
I'm not-
that-
I'm
He's a businessman.
That's probably the angle you are touching on.
He's a
don't-
businessman. He's not in love. He's a businessman.
You don't deal with risks, okay, by crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. That is not how you deal with risks. And you see, getting to know someone. So, okay, up to the point where you got to the point where it's okay, fine, this is the girl I'm going to marry. This is the girl I have decided that I'm going to commit it to. On what basis did you make that assertion? On what basis? Because at least before Rebecca said, this is the woman I want to marry, there are a lot of things you would have probably seen about her. A bit me actually say when they're not like it be at the person's values, right? So if you are telling me, say, at the point where you said, I want to be committed to this person, I want to marry this person, based on what you know about that particular person, now catch him say, based on what you know, the person's views on sex, the person's genotype, and then the person's, let's say, resource factor is not part of the things that you know about the person, then on what basis are you marrying the person? On what basis? Until you want to get to know the person, but every time I'll make a decision, you don't know all these things, and these are really fundamental.
Minister.
But between the
Minister.
time you met the lady
Minister.
and the time you
Minister.
decide you want to make a
Minister.
commitment,
Yes.
with that frame, I mean, what could have happened between the two of you?
You probably will find out about, what makes the person angry
How do you find out?
through interactions with the person.
A
Okay.
longer
You know.
interaction.
So how long
A
are we looking
longer
at?
Interaction.
How long are we looking at?
How long are we looking at?
Yes.
It depends on the person. You see, some people are like,
You think
oh,
1 year is enough to get to know somebody
It
well
de-
enough to want to say I want to marry that
as
person
I
or have a
said,
commitment? with
human
that?
beings.
Because me, I believe in 3
Unpredictable.
months. Look, a lot can happen in 3 months.
Human beings
Unpredictable. We are
are weird.
unpredictable.
You can know someone for 20, 30 years and they can still surprise you.
Oh yes.
People are like onions, right? You peel, there's another cover. You peel, there's another one. You peel, there's another one.
Until you do steal with it.
Exactly. Do you know, Becca said, I can't believe that this person did this to me. You don't know the person as much as you thought you did. So there is no time frame. That one, I'm not sticking my neck out, right? But there are some fundamental things that at least within the course of the relationship, up to the point where you say, this is the woman I want to settle with, you should know.
Good. So
Minister.
you don't necessarily have to ask.
No. I'm saying fine now, but I'm not saying go and sit the girl down and do
And
interview.
Good. So,
Minister,
between that, okay.
I want to
Alfred.
say something. You know, when it comes to certain philosophy you have, linking to the lady's philosophy, I want to bring up my child and this formula. In fact, blood group doesn't come anywhere near that. I want to educate my child in this aspect. Blood group doesn't come anywhere until when you get to the marriage level. That is where the religious bodies encourage or advise that you should do those things. So when it comes to that one, you're already swimming into knowing you already you have some ritual you do together, which you have already bond
Blood group.
before those medical, in quotes, medical history comes in. Seriously. Unless maybe the visible ones you see.
Stella wants to
Unless
say
the visible ones you want
I
to
mean,
see.
You're in a time where your blood group really matters, and then you're advised to check all those stuff before you get married. These days, you don't even wait to get to the religious side before maybe your church pastor asks you to check.
Okay.
Because, for instance, I'd want to know your blood, your resource factor, and then I also want to know your genotype. Because sometimes you wouldn't see the consequence now, but then you have to afterwards. So I'm married to my resource factor is positive, and then I didn't check the guy, so we didn't test ourselves. Or even though we tested, realized that he's negative. Now he's negative, I'm positive. Then okay. I'm not saying love is not a bad. Sometimes people fall in love and then it's like they are blinded till a reality hits them. So it depends. Love is not really objective, it's subjective based on the person's view on love. View about love. So my resource factor is positive and the guy's one is negative. Because I love him, we love each other, we decide to make compromises and then we get married. Now I get pregnant. I'm positive, he's negative. For the first pregnancy, my body won't release any antibody that will fight against the baby. But for my subsequent pregnancies, my body will now see the man's, because the baby takes the man's resource factor, I think. So now my body is going to see the baby as a threat, and then release antibodies that will fight against the threat, just as the way our white blood cells fight against sickness. So it's also going to harm the baby, thinking it's come to serve as a threat to my body. So then this leads to miscarriages, several miscarriages, because we failed to accept reality. If we had checked it earlier before we even got to the commitment stage and then the marriage stage, it wouldn't have led to a point where now I'm miscarriaging. Then the man's family, they'll be like,
putting pressure on you too.
Putting pressure, and then it can even lead to a divorce, because unless the man really loves, and then sometimes the man can be so pressured. Some family members will even bring him a lady that they brought to
A
the
village
job.
girl.
Yes, and then
Minister, I want to ask her,
it's not,
is it a personal story?
oh no, it's not a special.
She's a good narrator.
It's not a
I
personal
think she's
story.
she's red, white.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
Yes, I read
I
a lot.
know.
Yes.
But no, the way she's addressing it, I thought it's
Yeah,
a personal
I
story.
actually,
Oh,
I'm
it's
actually
not.
working on it.
Oh, I know.
I'm working on it, you know.
Minister said,
It's not a personal story.
So let her finish up. So would you want to wrap up on that? Or you done? With
Yeah,
your-
so
okay.
that's what.
in a make call, I sometimes, if I'm really in the mood, because I'm very passionate about some of these discussions. If you go to the hospitals and they tell you the problem that babies who are SS are going through,
It's something else. Something altogether.
they die. They die as if. But if they have what you call the crisis season, especially during the raining seasons, where their rheumatism kicks in,
It's very bad.
it's very bad. Because someone decided not to do due diligence, and someone who is SS went ahead to marry someone who is SS, or someone who is AS went ahead get married to someone who is AS. Minister said, the point I am trying to make is finding out the genotype of your partner before you get to commitment stage does not mean that love doesn't exist among the two of you. In fact, it is that particular love you have for your partner and then the potential children you will give. It is that particular love that should motivate you to find out these things even before it gets to that critical stage. So the fact that I'm going to find out those things does not mean I love the person. It's actually the opposite. It means I genuinely care about the person and I care about our future offsprings. But quite frankly, I don't want to be the reason why someone goes through that particular pain. No, thank you. Even God will understand. And love has absolutely nothing to do with it. You see, you can't know, and you're easy, so.
Right.
Minister said, what did they say?
Yeah, I get you.
Yes, into moment, right? You've sat there to the point where you are going to get married. The relationship is a committed relationship. Now you want to pressure your woman for sex. You should have so the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper. If you watch the Big Bang Theory,
Sheldon.
he has a relationship agreement.
With what's the name?
Amy Farrah.
Yeah.
Sign.
It's a net, no.
Yes. So there are some things that I think, it doesn't mean more normal, but also you have to make sure say
Guys, let me do some messages. We'll try and see if we can wrap up. So, Sammy from Sammy from Kojo Bedu says, great topic, Minister said, but I think ideally you should have a good discussion before you enter into a committed relationship so you don't find yourself wanting. Okay. Selena says, hey, I need to enjoy coitus so I know whether the guy is good in bed or not. It's crazy. How do I commit myself and eventually find out that the gentleman is weak? Me, the way I love sex. Stop it.
Oh, per sex, oh yeah, I won't find it.
You
Okay,
don't
fine.
like
I was
sex.
something.
Jerry says, sex is extremely important. Extremely, read my lips, Minister, extremely important for a healthy marriage life. Okay. So, quite some interesting submissions there. But then, guys, let's look at the fact that how I mean, obviously, there is tensions at home, fire in the house or in that relationship. How do they come to a compromise? How should they work this thing out? Stella, you want to touch on this?
What would you do if you were the girl?
So we are looking at individual values and how to respect them, mutually.
Yeah, sex is not a bad thing, but as you said, it depends on you. So Sarah, I think, being from a traditional background, if I were Sarah, I mean, the temptation to give into his, the thought of giving into his demand would be, because
And she loves Michael so much.
yes, but sometimes it's committed. You're not yet married, and even though we are married, sometimes it's committed. So fine. After the sex, what's going to happen? Because sometimes maybe after the sex, humans we are unpredictable. We can change over a short period of time or a long period of time. So sometimes I'll actually weigh the consequences. Fine, if I give in to his demand, then what's next? So if I Sarah, I wouldn't compromise my values for him. Even though so of course if you really love me, this is tough, but I mean if you really love me, I mean respect my my value.
You want to say the gentleman's values also doesn't matter?
It also matters, but
So
then
why can't Sarah respect his
mean,
values
I'm not-
of demanding
I'm
for
not-
sex?
Mr.
I'm
Ted,
not ready. I'm not ready.
Sorry,
I'm not
ma'am.
ready
I'll come to you about
at this moment. Because sex is not only about the physical act, it's also about the psychological act.
Yes.
I need to be mentally prepared, psychologically prepared.
Oh, really?
Yes. You see like
Just
it's
sex?
just
Someone say common sex?
yes, you see like it's just a
Mr.
physical
Ajiman.
act, but there's more to it because sometimes a whole lot of things. So I need to be psychologically because fine. I don't know if you would want to use a protection or not. That one is between Sarah and her boyfriend. But then in a society, what if by chance I get pregnant? How do I take this pregnancy home? Then the thought of abortion comes next. It's going to be
It
burdensome.
becomes a consequential.
Yes, so I'd rather not take that decision. I'll just
Mr. Ajiman,
Mr. Said, see, me, okay, I want to enjoy my sex.
you love it, right?
And if a woman says that
Auntie.
this is my man and I want to make sure he enjoys the sex, it is arguably one of the best experiences on the planet.
Sex?
Yes, we are talking about intimacy, right? So if your woman is in the mood, mentally and psychologically
know.
prepared, right, to actually give you the sex, say, I want to do it with you, it's different
They're very different.
from someone who has been pressured or manipulated emotionally to have sex.
Yeah.
I do not want that kind of sex.
Okay.
I want my sex to be enjoyable. So if there is a slightest hint that my partner will not enjoy the intimacy, I will not want it.
Friend, yes.
Yeah, you won't push it unless
I won't push it.
yeah.
Some guys don't care because it gives them, what do I call, the sense of authority over the woman.
The alpha male.
But I want to enjoy my sex. And it's better if the woman actually wants to actually have the sex. Mr. Sel, what did they make an say? See, the man wanting to sleep with a woman, it is not value. What is the value in there? Right? Sex is chaste, regardless of what people want to say out there. Me and family home. Sex is chaste. It is sacred. The Bible says it's sacred. Traditionally, it is sacred. What Kwame from Anloga Junction is saying doesn't change that particular fact. So if a woman wants to...
Leonard and Wallowitz don't think so. They would agree with you.
It's fine. Your own business. So if the woman says, I'm preserving those values, and especially if the woman has not even had sexual intimacy before,
The experience being something.
now I say, what they're trained, worry me. It doesn't change anything. Worry me. And then once we get married, I will give it to you because it will be yours. Sir. Why should it even be a problem?
And yet pleasurable. What do you make of it?
Chirene. If the girl doesn't know how to do it, and then she's
Tell her
committed
what
to
to
you,
do.
tell her what to do. Show her.
Yes.
Oh, skill we yeni say. We yeni say and I'm pay. That's what my boss Sarah will tell you. I say, if she doesn't know, teach her. Timin sa say tane cry there.
No problem.
Any issues or her if he looks at the situation and says, okay, fine, me the sex is important to me more than your values, and as a result of that I can't anymore. No, be a baby. Yeah.
So
Alfred, the back and forth. At a point, what happens?
Miss, I want to make some summation concerning for
Quickly
the lady.
before- okay.
Yeah. So the lady, I respect if I'm for the guy, I respect the lady's view, because you've been able to state that committed this thing you are all claiming, and I think the gentleman should define what intimacy is talking about. No, maybe not necessarily penetration. Maybe just get closer, cuddling, not the Pentecostal handshake. Or
So you think,
Pentecostal
why wouldn't the girl do that? I mean, these are just basic.
I don't know. Yeah, no.
Intimacy.
The guy is trying to bond, maybe another thing too, the pressure around the gentleman. Maybe the guy is hearing things around, so there's some level of pressure because maybe he might have tasted that before, so he has this fantasy this imagination about the young lady. So I think at that aspect is teaching the young man discipline and self-control. So I think he should kind of be a little bit patient, because if he thinks that's a lady he wants to settle with, I think at least they are more into that after marriage. So it's also more or less that the lady might not kind of, if you are not able to discipline yourself, the lady might not trust you in some level. Another thing too, if you want sex, this one, let me leave it for if you want sex, there are so many ways of getting it. If you think the lady is still standing on her grounds, it's just that maybe the presentation, the way you present it, you are making the lady scared. Yes, so they are so nice with that. Before you realize, you guys are getting intimate.
But she doesn't agree.
You see, we are on public something. So what I'm trying to say is that let me repeat myself again.
Oh, go public.
Please,
Go
let me repeat myself again. You know, there are ways that you wouldn't. You know, those things are unplanned. But when you make it planned, the lady will be scared, that wouldn't want to get closer to you. So there are certain things you do before she realizes. She might even rape you. So it depends on how you carry yourself when it comes to intimacy. So if you make it so like a World Cup, you scare the lady, you repel, or you scare the lady away from you. So it's just be an open-minded person. Those things happen naturally. It can be before or after marriage. That is my view.
So final advice to them.
Oh, I think the guy should respect the lady, and it will even help him, because
The lady should equally respect the guy.
I think the guy, he's listening to voices.
Yes.
The guy is listening to voices. That's why. So they should have a sit-down talk. There's a sit-down conversation about it, because it all boils down to self-discipline. What about if the gentleman after marriage is being transferred somewhere? So those things are all tests.
Yeah.
Yes, they are all tests. So I think he should at least unshine your home. The edge for that, you should be able to. But if he still wants to, there are so many ways of killing a cat.
You can go around them.
Don't force the lady.
As I said,
Those things happen naturally. Don't force it.
So is the guy justified to
I can
go
just be
out
massaging.
for-
I can just be
for-
massaging, and before she realizes,
for it, once it's an edge, he wants to. He wants to
if
satisfy.
Michael is listening to the program right now, catch and say, Mr. Boache, so you're correct.
Michael, who a true?
No, the Michael in the story.
Oh, okay.
Can I say, Mr. Boache, so you're correct?
you are making the lady scared. You don't
Oh,
do that.
Obenya say when you're traditional woman, why he wants the daughters of Jezebel?
Guys, I just need to wrap up. So, any shout out you want to?
Yeah, shout outs to Donny Pure Studios. He's with us today. Shout outs to me, he's a police officer. Shout outs to Core GSM. Shout outs to Honorable Clef Kwanzaa. Yeah, thank you.
Boache?
So there are some people who have had enormous impact on my life here in WINDYBAY, and today I want to acknowledge those people. The first one is my godmother. I can't mention the name.
But you did that in the beginning. Shall I remind you of her name?
No. She's
Madam, he really appreciates. Oh, don't worry.
yes, she can be a safe haven.
Hey, Obi wife no money. Lyrics are.
Oh, and then my director, Dr. Ephraim Kwaidu, one of the most intelligent people I've ever dealt with, and then Serafik Ejari, and then my boss, Charles Ato Hinson. Amazing people. And then also shout outs to Minister Seth.
Yeah, man. Charlie, Boache, thank
and then
you.
Vida. Shout outs to Vida.
Yes. Vida actually surprised me today.
She didn't tell she was coming.
I never knew she was coming. Okay, so Stella, do you have any special ones you want to
Yes.
shout out to?
I give shout out to Retanimo, Akosia JC Boateng, and Mata Tichi. Yeah.
Which department are they?
Music education.
Music education.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, grateful. Shout out to my beautiful wife. That's what's your problem. Hey, now within the wife, so I ran it. But we want Mike and Maso Kakana. Within the wife, no be shouting it out, be shouting it out, and Charlie on shouting now. Oh, yeah, you win, sir.
Jorof.
And our board your love at 2 o'clock. Charlie, shout out to my beautiful wife,
Yeah, yeah,
Millicent.
It's a long
Yeah,
walk.
and of course, doing the listening inside low cost. Shout out to all those who join in the conversation via Facebook, who text. Oh, you're always grateful. So till I come your way again next week, I say brighten the corner where you are, and let me leave you with a Chichire coming from the legendary Akobua. Have a good evening.